This is 1 million cups. Some of you know that, some of you don't, or at least don't know it as viscerally as you might if you've attended before. So if you haven't attended before, would you raise your hand so we can single you out? Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. I hope you all like it. The deal here is you're going to see 2 presentations from entrepreneurs in our community building something great. They're going to go for about 6 minutes, tell you what they're making, and then it's your responsibility to ask them questions, get clarification on points, try and make suggestions to what they can do with their business, or think through kind of your mental Rolodexes and what connections you can make for them to grow their businesses. My name is Sean Kennedy. I'm one of the organizers here, along with Daniel. Richard? JJ's here. JJ Roberts is back there as well. Carly, of course, as always, is hiding in the foliage, taking notes and producing the awesome emails that you guys get every week, telling you who's coming up to present and who presented in the past, how you can help and contact them, and how you can get more information on our weekly events. If you're not getting that email, there's a sign-in sheet over there by the door. We would be happy to add you to the list. If you're not getting the email and you have signed in before, please see one of us. We will get that corrected for you. Our first presentation this morning from my good friend Cindy, who is has been a part of every organization in St. Petersburg, a shining member of the Chamber of Commerce, a entrepreneurial academy graduate, and a great entrepreneur. And also responsible for the awesome cupcakes.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. It's really overwhelming here, and I hope you are here for me, not for the cupcakes. Has anyone ever come to my first presentation last August? Okay, perfect. Okay, I got news for you. Here's my car key. So I didn't lock myself. First time, I locked myself out of the car, and I kept the engine running. As soon as I got the presentation, I had to go back to call the locksmith to unlock it. Good thing I got plenty of gas. So, all right, second time's around is a little bit better, I hope. Takeout Button, just a little bit about our company. It's found by the foodie and the techie, and you can tell I'm not a techie. The whole point of this is that we like to eat, and we like convenience, and we want it now the way we want. And most of the service online ordering that we found is just from the big chain, like Pizza Hut, Papa John's. But when it comes down to mom and pop independent, which is so unique, they don't have this type of service. So we think we might just do one. So we're not just know what customer like, we'll be able to deliver it. So what we do basically is white label, web-based online ordering technology. The benefit for customer, like myself, to be able to order food from the tablet, from computer, from mobile, and to be able to personalize it, customize it. You want more bacon, more cheese on pasta, or extra icing. You can do that because the software is so sophisticated enough to customize to your liking. And you'll be able to pay with a credit card, set up the time to get the food, or set up the time to get the food delivered. Benefit for restaurant or eateries, there's a lot of benefits. Because most of the time, people might get miscommunication, misorder, and they have to refund customer. So all the orders will come in automatically. They could go through a POS or the IP printer. So you don't have to waste time to be on the phone and try to get distraction when you have a full packed busy restaurant. And of course, it will help you grow the sale because when it's convenient for people, they keep coming back. So the value will be increased, and you can always upsell. Like McDonald's always say, you want fries with that, you can do the same thing with your fruit, your food. You want, if you make sushi, you want brown rice, $2 more, things like that. So the ticket average ticket is higher. These are some of the clients that we're using Takeout Button technology. The sponsor for Cupcake today is from Sweet, St. Petersburg, down on Martin Luther King. They also own Cupcake Spot on Central. So if you like their cupcakes, please support them. And now you know you can also order online. And the middle one is pizza in Brandon. And I'm from Thailand, so I need to have at least one Thai customer. This one, Thai sweet basil from Northdale. And it's good that you can see what you're going to be eating, so that's helped a lot of customers. I'm not sure if I can play this. Oh, good. Oh, it looks like it works.
Businesses have the ability for their customers to order online or on smart devices. But this option can be unaffordable for smaller local companies like yourself, right? Until now. Say hello to Takeout Button, the secure and easy-to-use, affordable online ordering system created especially for local businesses like yours. Now you have an opportunity to do what larger businesses have been doing successfully for years. Takeout Button's mobile-friendly technology allows your customers to place orders conveniently from computers, smartphones, or tablets. You can grow your revenue without hiring more staff. Our system is designed specifically for food ordering and sophisticated enough to accommodate most complicated menus. Besides showing and also managing your menu, we offer sales reports, create promotions, full training, and marketing support to help you grow your online ordering business. And we can do a variety of digital coupons, including loyalty programs. Plus, as they say, there's more. We're now offering our exclusive ROI calculator. We'll actually show you how much money you can be making using our proprietary technology. Don't miss out on all those frustrated and hungry customers who could be ordering from you. Now, you can offer the convenience that customers have grown to expect. Affordable online ordering with Takeout Button. Call us today or contact us online for a free, no-obligation consultation.
So I hope you guys are convinced and no more questions. Yes.
Is this national?
I want it to be one day, yeah.
You're starting local.
Yep, started, yep. Oh, yes.
How do you target the restaurants? Are there specific restaurants you target? What size? How many in a chain or how many?
Yeah, mainly independent mom and pop, because if you go for a franchise, you have to go all the way to the corporate to have the whole thing set up. So right now we start with mom and pop, trying to build a track record, the customer base, and then we really want to move along, grow bigger.
What about organizations where you could reach a lot of people, like whether restaurants,
Yep,
like
there is.
organizations, and also maybe trade shows?
Right,
Restaurant
there
trade
is.
shows?
Actually, the part of it is one of the flyers that I can show. There's a restaurant, Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association. They have, I don't know, hundreds of restaurant members. So we actually put together a symposium next week on Tuesday in the morning. Everyone's welcome, 9 to 12. FRLA is going to be one of the major sponsors. There will be a lot of people from restaurant caterings. And we have Cisco provide food, and they, the guy who owns a Kino pad, menu pad in a restaurant, he'll be, I think, a keynote speaker too. So it will be a very exciting, symposium next Tuesday. So I think John might.
Cisco, is that going to be a possibility to become some partner with them? I mean, they've got all these connections with everybody. You could be maybe part of their supply chain.
We definitely would like to do that, but when you a startup and you talk to a big guy like that, they need more proof from you, unless you really know them really well, have a really strong connection. But we're working on it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Let's just say if I'm a restaurant, how easy is this to use? Do you have like a user interface where I can upload
Oh, yeah,
my
definitely.
products,
Oh, yeah,
prices?
definitely.
Like, do
Yeah.
I do all that as the user, or do you custom build it?
Okay, yeah, that's a setup fee, of course, to set up the beautiful menu, and I try to do the initial work for them, and then we'll go into training, because they will have a back-end tool that they have access. They can upload menu pictures, pricing. They can create a promo code, and then get people to kind of sign up on that restaurant club so they can send email blasts and all that. So they have full control of that online restaurant.
Yeah, I would definitely emphasize how easy it is to use.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, I don't know.
I think it's easy enough because the new restaurant that just get on board, Jesse on 66 in Coastalyfe Park, we visit him, set up an IP printer, and then it's like, oh, okay, this is intuitive. I think I can do that. So I think that's a good testimonial.
Is it possible to take the framework of the technology and work with any sort of retail store?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about all the mom and pop shops along Beach Drive or something like that, and then, you know, like Shapiro, they highlight certain things for Mother's Day or something like that. And you'll say, do you want a graph, do you want whatever, and then they
That's
just
excellent. Yeah, that's excellent. We want to start with the vertical that we're passionate about first, and of course we can always, the technology base is similar, so yeah.
But it could be.
Oh yeah, definitely, because basically it's a food shopping cart. You know, it's like you go to Amazon, you buy a lot of stuff, but here you buy food, and it's more complicated because different cuisine, they have different needs. You know, like pizza, you talk about topping. Sandwich, you talk about stuffing. You know, sushi is different. Okay, we have a very small.
Cindy, would you mind repeating my question?
Okay, now she's not asking about the price. So I guess that's important. We have a setup fee to put together very eye-catchy, you know, because people eat with their eyes, so it's so important to have food pictures for every item. So there's a setup fee, and of course there's a monthly fee because now this is your own white label online restaurant. So there's always a minimum fee to keep that site alive. And also there's a small commission percentage because every time when there's a transaction happen, the software will have to send confirmation email to the consumer, send online order to the restaurant, and record everything in the database. So you will have customer history record, and also send payment to your merchant account because we don't deal with money. We send you the bill later, and you get to choose any merchants vendors you'd like to work with.
So you were here last year and you did your presentation. Can you tell us any difference? How have you progressed?
I love this question, thank you. Thank you for asking, okay. Last year is more like a concept and we just have only one reference site. And this year we're like, okay, we got a lot more tracking, more customer interesting and see the value of this. And at the beginning, you know, the learning curve is always steep for any entrepreneurs. Everything is new to me. It's not my background doing marketing and all that. So we kind of like take all the opportunities that come our way. Good deals, bad deals, we take them all. And then we sort through those later. And we learn how to, you know, build relationship, or some people use the term fired clients, you know, so we have to learn how to go through that painful process. And we're still learning, so yeah, that's a lot of things to learn. And also partnership, you know, it's good. Everyone wants to work with the bigger guys, you know, they have all the connections and customer base, and you have to go through, is it the real deal or is it not? Most of the time we just waste the time talking and talking, you know, nothing gets done. But sometimes we waste time and money too, so.
Can you talk about how your company's set up, like what your role is? I'm sure you have some designers and.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I'm not a techie, so I have someone doing the job I don't want to do. Yep. Yeah, please.
So how do you don't actually deliver the food though? You don't.
No, we deliver orders.
Okay.
Orders to restaurants.
So who delivers?
Depends on the restaurant. For example, the cupcake here, he does delivery himself. So when you want the food delivered and you go to the checkout, there will be a delivery fee based on the distance, you know, how far you are to the store. So it won't be a surprise when you get to the payment part, you already know how much it will cost. Yeah. So we talk and customize based on what the restaurant owners, business owner wants. Okay, I got to start you first.
Okay. Did you say you're already working with the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association? Okay, and you know there's chapters throughout the state? Okay,
Yep.
so you start with Pinellas and then you go to Hillsborough. Hillsborough's very large, by the way.
Yeah, Andy.
But
Yeah.
at the top, just keep in mind that there's lodging as well as restaurants, and some of these lodging facilities also have restaurants.
Yes.
So think about the lodging facilities that have the restaurants there too, because.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And even for the people that come there to stay, they can actually order their food if they're in a rush,
Exactly.
and then eat right away before they have to leave. Okay.
Right.
As long as you're doing that, thanks.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's the end goal. The whole mission here is about if you make good food, you should be able to sell it online.
And the reason I say that association is there's a lot of small restaurants from the association. They're not big ones. Some of them are. Some people that belong have like 3 or 4 McDonald's, for example. But there's other ones that just have small restaurants. You're doing the right thing.
Oh, thank you so much. I think somewhere else is here.
Did you develop the technology, or your person developed the technology?
Yeah, my other half, yeah, the techie, yeah.
Do you know anything
You
about?
might feel better about that.
Do you know anything about the platform? Like, what is it written in? Or?
Oh, yeah, it's Microsoft products.
ASP.net.
Yeah, ASP.net.
This might be a little dependent on the restaurant, but just give your restaurants the option to ask
We will sit down and talk about that from the beginning. If they offer that delivery service, we will add that option on. But like the Thai restaurant, she doesn't have resource to do all the delivery, so it's only pick up.
How do you differentiate your value proposition to compete with the online delivery services such as with Coastalyfe.com?
Yeah. Okay, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. And I will talk more about this next Tuesday if anyone could come. There's 2 types of online ordering. One is called online food court, and the other one is white label standalone. So online food court, basically, you think about you go to the mall, you go to the food court, you will see tons of restaurants. They all compete for your attention. So it's a similar thing. If you list your restaurant on that food court or food directory, and if I'm a visitor, I go to a food court and I say, hey, I want pizza, you will be listed among other pizzerias, and who knows how many, because food directory can grow really big. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The good thing about online food court though, they normally it's a hub that they bring a lot of traffic. So they have large customer pool for you to, call for attention. So it will save you a lot of time. They will do all the things for you. The payment, they pay you, and they do all the marketing for you. But then again, keep in mind, they collect the money, and then they give you money back after deducting all the costs. How fast of the return you will get. This is very small and adapt to everything. It's like a small piece of puzzle that connect with other vendors. So if you get a chance to work with your own preferable vendors and you get paid every 24 or 48 hours, and that's really important for restaurants because they have to pay their staff every day. They got costs every day. So it's a trade-off you really have to think about.
It's not clear to me, is this an actual web-based or is it an app?
Right now it's web-based.
Okay.
Yeah, right now it's web-based. So it goes with SEO and everything. If you already have established website, which is really important, you already have traffic coming to your site. By adding a button and then you offer takeout service, you can directly, have your own traffic and start building revenue.
How about quality? In other words, do you get feedback to your site on the quality of?
Oh yeah, we have at the end after you pay, we will have a box that you can put feedback. How do you feel about the technology? That's how we get collect. We have one that say from the Thai restaurant say, I'm glad that you have picture for every item because they have no clue what they order. And you'll be able to set how spicy the food is. From like American spicy all the way to Thai hot spicy. So that's really eliminate a lot of miscommunication. Okay. Okay.
Have you found adopting this as more of an internal point of sale system?
Yeah.
You could just easily put it on an iPad in a restaurant and say,
Yep.
take order.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm glad you bring that up. right now, our software can integrate with Clover, which is the POS system that gained a lot of popularity because it's not too expensive. Only 1,000 or 2,000 range you can have it. So yeah. So instead of having order printout or you get it through email, it will go directly to the inventory system.
How about scaling? So you're starting local, and it sounds like you make it very personal. You actually go to talk with them.
Right.
There's a face-to-face.
Yep.
What about scaling?
Yeah, I'm glad. If we want to grow beyond Florida, let's say, we probably will need a team. Someone who can do my job and be local, because after all, every business is all about customer support. So, but anything that can be done at the headquarters in terms of technology, I mean, it's going to stay here because that's our core products. But in terms of sale and personal touch, I mean, we really need someone who's knowledgeable that we have to train. Once we get to that point, we'll need a team.
Do you offer nutrition and then calorie counts with it?
That's great. That's in the my pipeline. I would like to work with nutritionists or like a healthy food choice to be able to add this, not just the price and options. It could be calories, it could be fat, all kinds of things. Yeah, it can be adapted to anything because yeah. Thank you. Okay.
Have you thought about trying to work with any catering services?
Yeah, we actually have one caterer client. Yeah, so the whole idea is if you have good food, you should be able to sell. That comes not just the restaurant, bakery, catering, food truck, and who else, like food blogger that can actually sell food, not just talking about food, So yeah, so that's kind of the market that we're targeting. But right now, it works really well with the restaurant, which is a sub-vertical of the whole food industry. So yeah.
And is there a geographic area that you targeted beyond to St. Petersburg or Tampa? What's your target market area geographically?
Right now, it's just Tampa Bay area. Yeah, like we have St. Pete, Brandon, Tampa. Yeah, right now. So yeah.
What kind of, once you have a contract with a restaurant, what kind of follow-up are you guys doing? How much time are you spending with previous customers versus?
Oh, that's a great question. Of course, when they have problems, they always call me. And if I can fix it up, we'll do it right away. We get back within 24 hours. Sometimes they want us to tweak even the software. We would do it because what we want is we want to have the most sophisticated online ordering system. So every feedback is valuable to us, and we don't even like charge for that because it can be applied to future customer. For follow-up, because besides sending invoice to them every month, we will email or sometimes call or even pay a visit, become their customer, because it's all give and take. And we help them promote through our social media channel we have.
Aside from the big box companies you mentioned, who are your competitors?
That's a good question. So besides the online food court, which is kind of slightly different animal, we have a few. If you're talking about Tampa Bay, there's a few companies in Tampa that's doing similar things, and there are hundreds of companies on the West Coast in LA, New York, big city. They already adopt this way of ordering.
Are you doing anything to differentiate yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I'm glad that you asked because I practiced this question at 1 Million Cup Tampa. So it's all come down when you talk about differentiation. It's all come down to who do you care as a company, why you build it to begin with. And what we care is we take pride on our software. We want to make it easy. Like I said, we know what customer want because I'm a foodie and I can tell the techie what to do. So from that standpoint of view, we want users to have a good experience, to order food. And by the look and feel alone, most of the time when you use online ordering, it's all text. It's kind of like you read the menu, but it's just on the website, no picture. So we want to showcase every item, and that's, I mean, the obvious difference. And the back-end tool that we give you a full control, and we're going to keep adding feature if you give us feedback to make it, more complete. So that's one thing, and also the customer service that we want to, this is always come down to this. Yep.
So the two biggest challenges in your, you might agree with me, was payment gateway and integration with POS systems.
I would say payment gateway is not so much. We integrate with them like WorldPay, First Data. That's not so.
How do you plug into the existing payment gateways the restaurant already have?
Oh, that's okay. The way we do it is that they have to open an e-commerce account.
They probably be already having some kind of payment gateway, probably accept credit card.
Right, exactly.
So you need to put that in the
Oh yeah. They will give us permission to be able to, put integration in.
The second part would be the POS system, integrated with POS, so you don't have two printers,
Yeah, exactly. The POS is a little bit more challenging because Clover has an open API, so anyone, can connect to. But for other brands that may not have that, I think you need to talk to the company and get the brand approved or something, and then they might give you a permission. So it's different, and that's why we do an IP printer as an alternative. Yeah, exactly.
So Cindy, how can we as a community help Takeout Button?
Well, I would like, to get more exposure, and you guys are here, so I'm really happy. And maybe, if you come across any restaurant that you like and you think, hey, they should have Takeout Button, so let them know, come and contact me. I have my business card and brochure outside next to the cupcake, have more cupcakes. And, yeah.
That was awesome. We always appreciate it. We appreciate anyone who makes it easier for me to eat food and all that. A couple events coming up in the near future. Iron Yard Demo Day is this Friday over at the Iron Yard on 1st Avenue South. That is your opportunity to see the final projects of the graduates of that Code Academy, to check out some of the cool things that they have built. Hopefully we'll be presenting here at Million Cups one day. Then on Saturday is community night at the Rays. There's information in our emails about this, but the Greenhouse, we are co-sponsors of this event. We'll all be out at the ball game having a good time, so please come out, join us, watch the Rays just bore the heck out of you with their terrible hitting. I'm sorry, their offense was horrendous. It's really hard to watch, but there will be great people there with you. And unfortunately, this is a home game, so the pitcher can't hit, which is where they're generating their offense from. You heard Cindy mention her event on the 28th. If you have any questions about that, Cindy is obviously your go-to person for that. Startup Exchange coming up next week. JJ is your go-to person for that. It's speed dating with mentors to help you grow your business. And then on the 20th is Tech Jam. That's TechStart, the nonprofit arm of TBTF. That's their big fundraiser. If you and 3 of your friends can play musical instruments and would like to enter a battle of the bands with a bunch of other geeks, it is a fantastic event. Highly recommend you come out to that one. As always, we appreciate anybody that you guys know that you think would be good up here presenting. Have to go on to 1millioncups.com/St. Pete. Click the request to present. That information will get to us organizers, and we can talk to them and help them with scheduling and things like that. Our next guest is Coastalyfe. They have a crew here today. They have a lot of friends in the audience, and I'm very excited to see them.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Cliff Neese, and this is Sean Suits. We're the co-founders of Coastalyfe. Also want to introduce Hillary Disney, which is another partner of ours. So what is Coastalyfe? Coastalyfe is an Uber of water travel. using ride-sharing technology to connect riders with drivers to provide on-demand boat rides to coastal destinations. Coastalyfe is a transportation network company, as defined by House Bill 817 that is being worked on right now in the state of Florida to define what ride-sharing is and what a transportation network company is. I'm sure everybody here is familiar with Uber. Our competitive advantage is ride-sharing technology, driver flexibility, and organic growth through social media. Instant gratification of being able to get a boat ride if you're not a boat owner. Rider flexibility, and our ability to partner with water taxis, other water taxis in the area to offer this sort of technology to them to connect with more of their consumers, and also to partner with boat rental companies that don't have this ability right now. Rates. So it's broken down basically the same way that Uber and Lyft and other ride-sharing businesses work. The taxi model. So your base fare when you get on the boat, cost per mile, cost per minute. So if you were just going out for a sunset ride and you're sitting there, so the time that it takes to get out there, you will be racking up mile charges. And then the time that you're just sitting there, the minutes would be adding up. Marketing. So our plan is to work with a marketing agency and outsource this sort of thing so we can grow this platform around the state to begin with. Using social media, of course, is probably the biggest way to reach people these days. Traditional media, of course, and word of mouth has been great for us so far. We've already started getting media coverage. We launched this back in May, and we launched with the media help here in the local area, ABC News and A News 9, and I love the Burg has been helping out as well with getting some exposure. You can find this story on our website at coastalyfe.com. So our current status, like I said, we launched the app back in May, and we've really just been testing. Testing our assumptions, testing the traction in the market, getting feedback from the community, and working with the U.S. Coast Guard, working with the City Council, the State of Florida, the House Bill, and we continue to test, and we're looking for more riders and drivers to continue to test and test the market. And what we found is that it's spreading quickly around the state of Florida, around the country. I mean, since we launched in May, we quickly had 80 to 90 drivers registered to drive for us, and we have hundreds of riders that have signed up already. These drivers have been signing up from here to California. It's been spreading quickly, organically. We've been focused here in the Tampa Bay area. It's quickly spreading. And since then, we've actually pulled back a little bit on our marketing efforts to focus on our processes, how we onboard drivers, the processes that we go through with background checks, and just qualifying drivers and getting them out there on the water. Sorry, I'm not elaborate.
No, essentially, like I say, we're going through the testing period at the moment, but we did kind of put the brakes on a little bit because we're going to go through our first round of funding, which will help us put teams in place that will allow us to grow at the rate that we saw whenever we launched this. It was very surprising. We didn't know exactly what we were going to see, but we got such a huge response with immediate drivers signing up and immediate riders signing up that we wanted to make sure it was a good experience for both the drivers and the riders. So that's kind of why we're pulling back just a little bit right now until we build the company out like it needs to do.
I mean, after the first news story aired, we got hammered with emails and drivers signing up, and obviously a lot of questions on how it worked and how the app worked and how drivers get paid and rates and things like that. We quickly realized as a team of 3 that it was overwhelming. So we decided it was in our best interest to step back a little bit, focus on raising funds, and working with the local city council in the state of Florida. We'd like to be a bigger part of the waterfront. Yes.
1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute. Thank you. You know, the master plan for the city of St. Pete is amazing. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's awesome. You know, we're working with the city to figure out how we can be a bigger part of that, because water taxis is a big part of that plan. Connecting different areas of Tampa Bay together, you know, such as being able to go down to St. Pete Pier, get on a boat, go across the river, walk, go to Channel Side. It was part of the conversation that also Apollo Beach, with moving people that live in Apollo Beach that work at McDill back and forth to those areas as well by water rather than by land. So we're excited, and things are going very well, and we continue to push forward, and we really look forward to your feedback today.
As this grows, do you see this more as a transportation tool like those routes from eastern Pinellas to Tampa, or is it more of a fun time thing? I mean, I can't imagine like people on the beach would use this to get to Tampa maybe, but they would use it to get to a barrier island or something like that.
Right, and we see it being used for both. We're talking to a water rental company, Walter's actually here today, about partnering with them they're down in the Bradenton area, to move people from downtown Bradenton to the beaches where there's a parking issue there. And like you alluded to, you know, people that are on the beach think that, you know, they'll use it to possibly go from one restaurant that's on the water to the next, or to a barrier island, Egmont Key, places like that, and back.
I know this is just starting, but do you vet your drivers? Is there any process that they have to go through, or can any drunk boat driver say, "Come on, I'm gonna get some blood, let's go for a ride"? No, I don't. I mean, liability-wise for you guys.
It's a great question. It's very, very similar to the process that Uber is going through, actually. When a driver signs up, they go through a very rigorous process that includes background checks with the company that we're partnered with to run the background checks that covers the gamut of background, as well as they have to provide documentation to us showing that they meet the safety regulations on their boats, that they have the proper insurance coverage, all of that, to where we're very confident that the rider is going to have a good experience on that boat.
And do you have a disclaimer, or how do you protect your liability from the drivers?
We have a driver agreement that is very detailed. In those cases, the liability that goes along with it as well.
That could be a whole other hour.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to make sure that you were getting it.
I have a question. If you've ever worked in Manhattan, and you know there's water taxis in Manhattan, and it's sometimes it's practical, but more frequently it's the cool thing. It's the good thing. It's perhaps more expensive, and it might even take 9 minutes more.
Right.
But it's so hugely popular that I'm just curious. Do you see yourself there? Because I just say, wow, you so the Long Island Sound and Manhattan. I get to see. I love your business plan. I love your model. I see it so successful, not just in America, even, but you know, like in the south of France or other parts of the world. I just think you have a huge hit. It's scalable. Yeah, I'm just curious of your rollout.
Somebody asked me about that recently, about Manhattan and moving people around there, and they said the same thing. It actually takes a little longer, but it was a trendy, cool thing to do. You know?
It is, and it has been for decades. So
right.
I would say there's a lot of money there.
Our initial plan is to focus on Florida the best we can, because just focusing on Tampa led us to drivers in LA. So it organically started to grow quickly. We were getting calls from media in West Palm and Daytona and all over the place. And we really wanted to try to just focus here and figure out our processes and continue to test and make sure that we have things in place the way they need to be so we can scale. But our plan is to focus on the entire state of Florida post-funding.
Because I just see, it's going to sound weird, if you don't get enough upfront funding to do it in a grand way in this big universe of ours, perhaps you just set up an in-house franchise, and then you sell franchises, you own like a quarter of that business wherever it is, and then it's just income streams.
Well, luckily, the barriers to entering the market with this type of model are very, very low. So we're saying that we're focusing on Florida and Tampa Bay market, or Tampa Bay area, just because that's where we're at the moment. However, once we get the processes in place with that first round of funding, and we are able to get the teams in place and really know that this is, that we can do this smoothly, get the riders on board, then the sky's the limit, because like I said, it's just marketing dollars, and being able to expand into new markets, it's not like we have to have Burg and
And are you patenting or copywriting your app or your technology?
Well, the technology is being used by multiple companies around the world. I believe it's something you can patent.
Oh.
In the back there?
Question about the barrier islands, because we're from further north. Well, I love the idea because you're giving coastal communities that don't have a beach by having this access. My question would be, since you're not going to have the boats necessarily sit and wait with the people who you've taken to these islands, they're going to have to be able to connect with someone to take them back when it's done. Will you have people on standby long past a given period of hours that are scheduled?
That's a great question, and we're working that process out. So right now we're actually going to be putting a limit onto what barrier islands can be used to drop off a Coastalyfe rider, simply because we're building relationships with both CTO and drivers in certain locations that are going to be an emergency on-call 24-hour-a-day driver, so that we can make sure that there's no issues.
Great question.
As far as insurance goes, are you finding that there are some barriers there? I know that from, I just moved from Pompano Beach. There's a lot of docks that just anyone can't go to. That you have to show that you have insurance to be able to pull up and disembark from those docks. So that and the insurance that your drivers have to have, does that change if they go from just a private boat owner to a commercial entity?
Good question. We're working with Merrimack Insurance to write a program for our drivers. So we're working through that process right now, which that point is one of the reasons why we started talking with the city council here, was to figure out some of those things and what the plan is moving forward. Fortunately, places like Riverwalk have public docks everywhere that are accessible, and you can pull up to Gators, and you can pull up to different docks around Johns Pass and around the area. We haven't really encountered that with any drivers up to this point, but we are working on figuring some more of those things out. And as far as the insurance changing, the way that Merrimack is working on putting this program together, it will cover, it should cover them well into the future.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir.
So I'm a boat charter business, pleasure boat charter, same keep my wife. So the Coast Guard is very strict about captain licenses for hire. So what does the Coast Guard say about this law?
So as of right now, the way we're operating, Coastalyfe isn't in the charter service or passenger for hire or ferry service. Their captains, 6 riders or less. So our Coastalyfe and Coastalyfe's drivers are currently not in violation of any current regulations. This is the information we're getting. We're working with our legal team to get this. And then above and beyond that, that's why we're working very closely with local and state officials to get very specific language built into the House Bill 817 that will also cover this and make it more clear. Because there's gray areas.
I thought the Coast Guard was really clear about no paid for hire. There's a 6-pack license we talked about, but taking money if you're not a captain, I thought was against the Coast Guard rules, which the House can't override the Coast Guard.
Technically, they're not taking money. There's no money transfer going on hand to hand. The company is paying the drivers. The company is not a rider. So there's a gray area there, and the regulations aren't that specific.
I think the Coast Guard would say
the Coast Guard would say that they are, but that's a conversation that we continue to have. Good question, for sure. Yes, sir.
So looking at this from a different perspective, everybody that I know that isn't involved in boating or that comes and visits and hasn't been involved in boating, the time to get somewhere in a boat is usually a lot longer. And so the money, is there a way to predict if somebody says, I want to go across Tampa Bay, and they're expecting a 25-minute ride? Well, that's not going to happen. So how can you kind of predict the cost for somebody? How do you estimate what's coming up? Because something that they expect to be a $30 ride could be a $200 ride to get across the bay, or to get from one place to an island just because of the channels.
Yeah, it's built into the technology.
It
Where
gives
they'll
you
be
a
able to put a
predicted
destination
cost.
on there.
Right.
And
Based on distance, GPS locations. Yes, sir.
Yes, suppose a passenger wants to go to Madeira Beach, but doesn't want to go to Gators.
It doesn't want to go where?
Gators.
Okay.
As an example, we may have pointed out. How do you coordinate destination points with access points for the departure? I make myself clear. In other words, so I'm in Tampa and I want to go to Madeira Beach. Somebody said, yeah, I'll drop you off at Gators. Well, I don't want to go to Gators. I want to go to Madeira Beach somewhere else. Is that an issue for business model?
So they don't want to go to an exact.
Yeah, I'm
you
chose
chose
what to use
Gators.
your service as a transportation as a passenger, and I want to go to Madeira Beach, and I call up your service and say, well, we have an access point to departure at Gators on Johnson Path. But they want to go somewhere else. They want to go to the library in Madeira Beach.
Well, if the library has a dock. But yes, this isn't ground transportation. It's not Uber, so we can't drop somebody off at the doorstep. This is really a recreational activity. This was built for tourists or locals that are in one part of the coastal area that would like to go to the other part and not travel by land. Do something a little bit more fun. Just something different. Just a nice way to do it.
So let's talk about money. Okay? So owning a car is one thing. Owning a boat is prohibitively expensive. Usually it's 10% of the purchase price per year before you dock. Okay? So a couple of parts of this question. Number one, Uber's got massive turnover of drivers, right? They're a meat driver for drivers. Every 90-day drivers leave and they got on board new ones. Massive financial incentives. So number one, what's the split between the company and the driver? And number two, what are your estimates for what a driver in this program can make per hour? Because all the calculations I've done riding Uber all the time, those guys are making 10 to 12 bucks an hour and they're burning the heck out of it.
Thank you.
Okay?
My fault,
So
exactly.
because there's a lot less boat owners than car owners, how are you guys planning to onboard and keep drivers? Because turnover will kill this because there's probably a tenth as many boats out there as there are cars, right? So what's your financial plan with this?
Yeah, well, our financial plan with this is to partner with other boat rental companies that are in the area. They're not going to disappear. They're not going to turn over. We can work out specific plans with them as far as split. And in that case, we'd be taking a much smaller percentage, working with a boat rental company or a charter business or a ferry company. And we believe that they already exist. They're already in these coastal areas. And by partnering with them, we believe we'll have a lot less turnover they're referring to. As far as private owners, absolutely, they're going to turn over. And what's interesting about one of the things you said is, they're making about 12 bucks an hour and they're burning up their cars and things like that. I've used Uber plenty of times. And, sometimes you get into a Prius and sometimes you get into a Ford F-250. I'm not sure why that guy's driving in that category because he's probably upside down at the end of the day. So, some of these things are decisions that the drivers make, and having to figure out what, they have to do the cost analysis themselves as well. We're here to help them with that. And we're trying to keep the categories, and this is where the testing really comes in. We started out where we had a broader category, this 18 to 26 foot boats, and it just didn't work. So we narrowed that down to 18 to 22 foot, and we seem to be found a bit of a sweet spot there. We're still working on that. Currently, the split is 80-20, and then there's a license fee involved that's determined by your star rating. Uber does a similar model, where if you have a high star rating, you have a lower license fee. If you have a much lower star rating, you have a much higher license fee. And our plan is to help those people that have the lower star ratings figure out we can see what the issues were through the feedback that was left for them, and try to help them, mentor them back to a higher star rating to lower the cost for them.
The other thing, real quick, just to add on to that, is the other thing is with the private drivers, it's not exactly the same plan as Uber versus Uber. Making Uber a career. This isn't a career for a boat owner. These boat owners are out there. This is a very recreational activity. So, if the boat owner's out there and he's signed up with Coastalyfe, he can pick up a ride or two and pay for his gas for the whole day, being out on the water. So it's something that they can do at their convenience. They only take rides when they're signed on, and you can make that decision for them. So, and a lot of times when you're out on the water, you're probably having a little bit more fun than driving around as an Uber driver. So hopefully that'll lower the turnover rate a little bit.
Because some of the drivers that have signed up in the very beginning, we went on rides with them, the initial ride to get feedback from them. And what we found is that they were just hanging out. You know, they were hanging out at the beach, or they were out with the kids and the dogs, and they were trying to supplement their day. And a couple of the drivers, they just really wanted to meet people as well. Some of them were new to the area. So it was an opportunity for people, these drivers, to meet people while being involved in recreational activity, and maybe pay for their day, pay for the gas and, bait, whatever the case may be. But, you drop a line in the water, you get a call, you make a run, you drop your line in the water. I hope that answers your question. Yes?
Is there any way to select what type of boat you will be picked up in?
Good question. We've had some people talk about how fast do you want to get there. We have a speedboat category, and we've been, it looks like I had updated that, it says 18 to 25 foot, but we've got it down to 18 to 22. We're working on other categories, and rental boat companies would be another category. A charter would be another category. Even the parasailing activity that's going up and down the coast could be a category. So we're wide open to talking to the businesses that already exist in the area to create categories for them to give that on-demand connectivity with consumers. Yes, sir.
Speaking of categories, how are the hotels and the resorts, convention centers, how are they responding to the offer?
We haven't heard from anybody specifically in that industry. What were you getting at there?
Well, if I have a waterfront hotel,
right,
I want my customers to got this opportunity. So
I
want to develop that conversation.
So I had a conversation with one of the original drivers that signed up, actually owns a resort down in Holmes Beach, and that's exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to not only provide the service to the people that were staying at his resort, but also the resorts around them. And actually, I was having a conversation with Walter earlier. They're having that same conversation with the hotels and resorts down in the Bradenton area to offer that sort of service to them as well. So it's a conversation we want to continue to have, and we're open to any of those places contacting us, and we can work out. We'll negotiate any sort of deal that we can to help do business with these other businesses, to help them connect to more consumers and give them this sort of activity over here. Yes, sir.
So a couple of things. One, you had mentioned that social is a really big issue or a factor for the boats themselves. Have you considered creating some sort of social element in there that conversations can form around?
That's a great question. I actually have been thinking about that a lot because I like to go fishing, and I see people have this app, and I see people catching fish all the time and trying to identify what sort of fish there are. So I was thinking about it from kind of that perspective of connecting people at that level. They're out and about in certain areas. I don't know if I was having a good day fishing, I'd want to communicate that to everybody on the platform and they end up where I'm at. But yes, we have thought about that, but we're definitely more focused on how we connect with the businesses that are already here and how our processes work before we go and scale.
So could you build on that with, what does your software development team look like? How large is it? How capable is it of iteration?
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
We're accepting resumes.
Right. Yes, sir.
So it's not fair to compare yourselves to Uber. It's completely different dynamic. Similar, just from an idea, but otherwise the applications are different, and drivers' attitudes are different. So it's completely, but you have an edge. So that was an observation. Second is technically, how are you handling the coverage? That's paramount in making the software run. So your GPS, you're primarily in dead zones where you're off the coverage area. So I think the Tampa Bay area okay, but as you scale, that may be something.
No, that's a good thought. We'll have to make sure in those areas. Luckily, in Tampa Bay, we're doing the testing. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, to that point, I think it's incredibly important for us to rigorously test new markets and continue to expand on the technology that we use. Focus right here, it's not really that big of a problem. And our vision really isn't 9 miles out. Our vision is definitely coastal, intercoastal. So we don't perceive that as a problem right now, not that it may not become one in the future. Good question, for sure.
On the point of people fishing,
yeah.
They're very passionate about not being able to.
Right, exactly.
And I want to get an alert, my app is on, but I don't want my location.
Right. And that's what I was thinking of too, yeah. Maybe like species identification or something, but not where I'm at.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's say like, I've got some families coming in and I want to take them on one of these trips. Can you tell me like if I'm at downtown St. Pete and I want to go to Tampa, what would that cost me?
From the pier to say Riverwalk is roughly 20 miles. It's around $75
Per person or for the group?
for the group.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. It's a recreational activity, so it's going to be more expensive than Uber rides, of course. But you're not going out normally. You're probably not going out on a boat ride from one place to the other by yourself. You're in groups of 2, 3, or 4. We're forecasting the average ride for 4 riders. So you take that $75 divided by 4 amongst yourselves, and it's really not that bad for a nice way to get from one place to another.
How can the community help you see it everywhere?
Oh, perfect. Great question. Right now we are still in the testing phase. So if you happen to be a homeowner, sign up as a driver. If you happen to be somebody that would be interested in taking a ride, sign up with a rider. Help us through this beta testing phase. Number 2 is we are in the process of starting our first round of funding. So if you happen to have any investors in mind, or if you happen to be an investor, please reach out to us and we can kind of talk through some of the numbers and what that's going to look like. One of the most important things is help us support House Bill 817. That's really going to help both our business model and our business plan, as well as ride sharing in the area.
What's your definition of boat?